How you doing, Jake?
Good. How are you, Tony?
All right, all right. Good
Nice
to
to
see
meet
you.
you. Yeah, good to see you in person.
Yeah, I
How's
just
everything going?
good, man. Good. How'd you guys do with all the fires out there? How close were you?
Good. We're pretty close. The air quality was pretty bad for a while, but it's looking a little better now. But I
Okay,
mean, like, schools like UCLA had to shut down for like an extra week or two, but we
they did
weren't
really.
we weren't affected that badly. But yeah,
Okay.
I know.
Are they out yet, or are they still going? What's the?
They're mostly out. I think it last I checked was like 80 something percent contained, but
Wow.
yeah, I know. I know. It's been crazy, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. A lot of crazy stuff going on.
Yeah. Anyway, is it just you today or you got the other guys coming in or
No, the other. I just forwarded your email to the
okay.
guys, so they should
Sweet.
be in here.
Awesome. Cool, cool.
Hopefully very, very soon. We
Sounds
all knew it was going to be. It's 6 o'clock here, so
right. Yeah, yeah.
we're
You guys are in
planning on that.
Pennsylvania, right? Pennsylvania?
Yeah, we're about an hour. I guess about an hour west of Philadelphia.
Okay, sweet, sweet.
So
Awesome.
Southeast Pennsylvania, yeah.
Cool, cool. Well, thanks for jumping on the show, man.
Uh,
Excited. It should be fun.
this is the first time we've done anything like this, so
Yeah.
I that's why I was trying to see, like, what's the deal? I don't have any experience with it, so I
Yeah,
appreciate
no, me
you.
neither, man. It's just kind of we're just yeah.
I appreciate it. Has the song gotten any kind of traction? I mean, are people saying anything about it at all? Or
Yeah, I mean, people really liked it when I played it that first time. I mean, some people in the studio thought it was pretty sweet.
okay,
But yeah, I mean, it's been good. Yeah, we it's like a kind of a student run program. So it's kind of played throughout the whole school, and kind of like a lot of
that's
local
cool.
people listen. So yeah,
Nice, man. I really appreciate you doing it. It's like, so we're all in our 40s, and
yeah,
so it's just like this stuff that we only been doing for a little while, and
yeah,
to get a song that people actually care about, that's so far away, it's not someone
yeah, yeah.
that's like a friend of yours. It's like, oh, I really like your song. That
Right,
that that
right.
means a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, of course.
really cool.
Um, so you guys kind of like been playing together for a while, or like is it kind of a recent thing?
As a band, the three of us, I guess we started May of 2023, I believe,
Okay.
is when we got together. But well, I'll fill you in on when the other guys are here if we want to talk about
Yeah,
that
yeah,
a little more
that'll
formally.
probably work. Yeah,
But
sweet,
yeah, we as a band, like I said, since May of 2023.
awesome, cool. Is that your
So
practice studio there? I like that banner. That's sweet.
yeah, one of the banner in there. Yeah, yeah. This is my basement. Our
Nice, nice,
our rehearsal space, our recording thing. It's kind of our headquarters, really.
awesome. That's so
So
cool. Cool.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
So you
So
you do guitar and vocals, right? That's the
yes,
job. Sweet. That's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm the guitar and vocals, and my bass player, his name's Brian. He'll be on
Uh-huh.
here too. I don't know which iPhone that is that just jumped in. Um, he's been doing backing vocals too, so
Okay.
we're trying to throw more of that in, and just kind of add a new element to it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's Brian.
Cool. Hi,
So,
Brian.
hey, how are you?
Good. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Greatly appreciate you doing this.
Of
This is
course. Thanks for
fantastic.
coming on. This is great.
No, happy to be here.
Awesome.
We had a rehearsal this morning, and Brian and I, before he left, were saying, this is such a neat thing to do, and just for the experience and all of it. So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I love talking to people.
Yeah, yeah, appreciate it. Hopefully Matt shows up here soon. This is
Yeah,
this
no
is kind of
worries. This is giving me a COVID flashbacks. I had to do these all the time for school. I hated it.
yeah. Are you still in school? Are you still at
Yeah,
Loyola?
so I'm a sophomore at LMU.
Okay.
But I live in Long Beach, which is maybe without traffic like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So I do the drive. But yeah, I've been doing
So
the radio thing for about this is my second year now, so it's been
okay,
really fun. Yeah.
is this what you want to do? Do you want to be in radio or in
I really like it, so maybe I'm just kind of trying to figure it out in college.
yeah,
I'm a communications major, so I don't know, maybe some marketing stuff. Who
yeah.
knows? But yeah, yeah,
Good luck to you.
yeah. Did you guys go to school locally or did you guys go somewhere far away?
Brian, you want to start?
Well, we were in high school together in
Uh-huh.
in Kennett, and then I actually moved to LA when I was 18, went to Musicians Institute, which is in Hollywood,
Okay.
for guitar, and then moved back and went to Westchester University, which is not far from where we all live in this area. And Tony had gone to Westchester University. So, we kind of have been together since probably high schoolish, ninth grade.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah, Brian and I, the town he's on, Kent Square, is a very small town, and so we knew each other even though we went to different schools in the same school district. So I knew of Brian, and then in ninth grade, yeah, we were sitting next to each other in English class,
Yeah.
and then we just started talking and connected, and then I think we hung out at a high school dance, I think, and there was a live band that was playing, and both of us were like, "This is one of the neatest things I've ever seen." And that's when the guitar playing started, and lessons and all that, and we do little things here and there together, but it really wasn't more until uh, Brian, probably like 4 years ago or something, when you and I started saying, like, let's actually play together in a band. Brian being a guitar player, and then switched to bass, and here we are.
yeah, I think Tony had been playing with two other individuals in the trio format, and that bass player had decided he wanted to do other things.
Right.
So Tony messaged me and said, "Hey, do you want to try playing bass in this?" And I said, "Yeah, I can give it a go." And he said,
Yeah.
"Okay, learn these two songs." And then that text followed with like 5 other texts. So by the time that had finished, it was up to like 8 songs.
Wow.
And then we had done it. We practiced, and he's like, "I think it works." Just from my standpoint as a guitar player, the one thing I was trying to do is not sound like a guitar player playing bass.
Right.
Just do what's needed and actually learn the instrument. And then we got together with his drummer, and it seemed to work quite well. And then obviously, we can touch upon this later, but that drummer decided he had other things going on. So when we found Matt, that's really when the three of us sort of gelled and took off,
Right.
and now it's where it is at this point.
So that was your
Yeah.
first time playing bass? Like you just picked it up and had to learn it on the spot, kind of?
Yeah, I think I played. Tony has a bass in sort of the basement rehearsal space there. Just a beginner type bass, so
Yeah.
he could do things that he wanted to do.
Yeah.
I played with a pick for the first couple times we played it, and then I was like, it's actually more comfortable playing with fingers.
Yeah.
So I'll switch back and forth. Today, like in rehearsal, I used a pick more just to try and try different things and see how we can incorporate that sort of unique sound for that.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get some Impolite Society slap bass in the future.
Matt is pushing for that. There's a song that Tony just wrote, New Orleans, where there's a little bit of that in one of the breakdown sections. So
Sweet.
yeah, we'll see.
That's awesome.
Everything is growth, and I give Brian a lot of credit for really coming in and really giving the bass a solid try and doing a great job. It's for someone that, I mean, he has the musical knowledge, so that was very helpful.
Yeah.
But it's like you can play bass, like he could just mimic what I'm playing on the guitar, or he could try and do actual bass lines. And in the beginning, it's like, okay, just kind of play what's on the guitar, but now it's branching out into real bass lines that really add to it, especially with only having the one guitar. So it sounds really cool. I think I'm really, really pleased with what we've gotten out of it.
Yeah.
Just neat sounds. So and if Brian's not able to make it to a practice for whatever reason, what a huge difference in the sound. It's like, oh my God, everything just drops out and it just doesn't sound anywhere near as full or good. So yeah, I appreciate the fact that he was able to switch from guitar to bass and do it well.
Yeah, and that bass line on the first song, "Lost Control." I mean, that's groovy. I was loving that when I first listened to that. I was fired up.
Oh,
It was
that's
fun.
Yeah, yeah, that's a fantastic tune. In writing that, it was very close. And then what Tony did, and I think that's probably one of the best parts of how we operate in this. When he has a vision for how he wants this to go, He's very detailed, and so he made just sort of a rough demo of what he was thinking for that. And once we had sort of that blueprint, I think it was what, 2 or 3 times through practice, and we had that down.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
Yeah, and what's great is, he was touching on the bass stuff. The band as a whole is evolving immensely as we go through these rehearsals in this process. Tony will tell you initially, he's like, well, singing is not necessarily where he started, or it's something he has to work on. And it's true, he's put in a lot of time and effort with it. But now, if you listen to when he sings, it's almost like second nature.
Yeah.
It's the way I'm taking it. And he'll tell you in the beginning, that wasn't necessarily the plan. Tony wasn't going to be the singer. It was only after a couple practices, he said, okay, I want to really do this. Let's give it a whirl and let's be patient with it. Now, there's nothing you have to say to him in rehearsal. He'll go, okay, I need to work on this. Or what did you think? Did this sound good? And it's 9 times out of 10, it's like, I thought it was perfect. It's in pitch. It's perfect. It's what we envision it to be. So that's the cool part of what we're doing now, the evolving and the growth. You're not only seeing from Tony's end, my end, but even with Matt being new to this, where Matt's comfort level, he's adding more and more pieces to it. Hopefully he hops on here in a second.
I just got a text. He's getting on now, so he'll be here.
Awesome. Yeah, no worries.
You're going to get the full impact of Impolite Society.
Let's go.
But it's funny because what Brian was saying is spot on in terms of, in the beginning, like this, I was singing just because I don't know anybody else that's a singer.
Right.
And quite frankly, it's like I don't want to go through the hassle, and it's hard to find somebody you can trust and all that stuff. So I was like, I'll do this. And if we find somebody, okay, we can talk about it. But for right now, and then it just became like, I feel the changes. I feel like it's coming along a little better. I still know that I have to work. However, I do feel like it's getting better, and even on stage, and we haven't played a ton of shows, but we've done a few, and I feel like with each successive time, you just get a little more confident and accept the fact that sometimes it's not going to be perfect, and that's just the way it is. You keep moving and do it. But I'm happy with where we are, and I do feel like we're growing. So that's one of the neat parts about this, is to see where you were and then where you are in time.
Is it like developing, like your singing? Is it kind of like I guess like a mental thing? Like, are you like kind of like researching like tactics, strategies, or is it just kind of like I'm gonna try this, try that, like a trial and error kind of thing? Like, kind of what does that look like?
I think a little bit of both. I have read about stuff, tried to listen, like how to actually sing. I'm not too well versed on it. I probably ought to take some lessons at some point. Like when people talk about singing from the diaphragm versus your throat versus, like the high and low. But I have listened to some people talk about it, and I've tried certain things, and I can sometimes hear a difference.
Yeah.
And then other times, honestly, it's kind of like finding bands that are in my range.
Right.
And imitating them. And one of the bands that I've really used as a way to try and learn how to sing is Social Distortion. Mike Ness, are you familiar with Social Distortion?
Yep.
Okay. I know I'm significantly older than you, so.
No, yeah.
But Mike Ness's, I love his vocal styles and his writing, his lyrics.
Right.
I really tried to model a lot of what I do on him. His writing, it's like a modern day version of like Elton John and Billy Joel, in the sense that those guys told unbelievable stories in their songs. I feel like that's what Ness does, and it's like real life stuff, things that people can hear and relate to in their own way. Oh, I had something like that. And so the singing, I try to model after him because he's in my range, and even farther than that, lyric writing as well. And some of our songs are more real, like based on real things, and others tried to write a story.
Right.
So I've taken that from that band.
Did you guys ever see Social D live?
I saw them in May last year.
Nice.
It was like an unbelievable thing for me, to see him.
Awesome.
Oh, I loved it. And they were with Bad Religion, who sounds
that's so cool.
So good.
That's so cool. Yeah, I saw him at that No Values Festival. I don't know if you guys
recorded. Wow, it's being recorded. Crap.
Hello.
What?
Matt, you there?
Matt, you're on.
I'm on? Okay, great. And I just saw that this is being recorded, so I'm already making a great impression. I'm
Yeah.
Matt. I sit in the back. I play the drums. How you guys doing?
What's up,
Thanks for
Matt? Nice
taking
to
the time
meet
to
you.
interview us, man.
Yeah,
I
thanks for
appreciate it.
coming on.
Hey, it's a pleasure. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Um, I'm thinking this is my first interview ever with any type of something like this, so I'm just gonna shut up now, sit in the back, and play the drums. Tony, go ahead, take it away.
Cool.
So, Jake, you were asking about seeing them, or you're talking about when you
Yeah,
saw them?
I saw him in June of last year at
Oh,
that
okay.
No Values Festival over in Pomona, and they were great. Yeah, I was
Oh,
awesome.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was it was a month before that.
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think the place is called the Fillmore. I think that's where they played in Philadelphia, and
Philadelphia.
it was
Okay.
Yeah.
just it was cool. It was so neat to see him up there and doing his thing. So
Yeah, that's sweet.
yeah,
With Bad Religion too. Dang, that's a good show. Wow.
yeah, it was a good time. And Mike Ness's son's band opened up
Oh,
for him.
really?
Yeah, and
That's
you could
cool.
see he was completely imitating his father. I mean, the
Yeah.
stance, everything. I was like, wow, that's pretty good.
That's
Just
funny.
paying tribute to dad up there. So that was pretty cool.
That's hilarious. All right, so I mean, I guess we can kind of officially get started, but we kind of talked a little bit about kind of like the origins of your band, but did you guys all know each other like growing up, or was it just Tony and Brian that kind of knew each other forever? How'd you guys kind of like start is kind of what I'm asking, I guess.
So yeah, like I said, Brian and I have known each other for years. I mean, our freshman year in high school was 1989. So we're going back into the 1900s. And so yeah, we were friends for a long time. Then actually, I work as a teacher, and a guy that I'm friends with at school was in bands in college as well. And so when, like Brian said earlier, when our other drummer was not able to do it anymore, I asked this guy at school, I said, "Do you still know any drummers?" And he said, "As a matter of fact, I do." And so he said, "I'll give you his name. His name's Matt." And so I reached out to Matt, and we got connected, and here we are, a few years later. So yeah,
Nice.
pretty good stuff.
And Matt, had you been in bands before this, or is this your first official?
Yeah, I mean, well, how would you define band? Like in high school, I played music with a couple people. We played
Yeah,
at the talent shows and recorded a CD. Does
nice.
that count? I don't know.
Yeah,
It
that
was
counts.
widely distributed amongst the 200 people in the high school. Um,
Nice.
yeah, in college, I was in a band with my friend that linked me up with Tony. Originally, we were mostly a cover band, but on a whim, we like tried out for a manager and we got picked, and he took us under, and it was really exciting until like 6 months later when we were realizing that we can't pick the songs that we want to play, and there
Dang.
was just no freedom or whatever, so we kind of disbanded that. And then after that, I kind of went off and tried to do my own solo project. The problem is, as a drummer, it's surprisingly hard to find bands. And
Yeah.
then when you do find a band, you have to hope that there's, the significant overlap with the music they play and the music that I play and all that kind of stuff just to enjoy it. And yeah, so yeah, I've been basically a music guy my whole life. Ever since second grade, my dad took me to see Les Miserables,
Wow.
and yeah, that one got me, and I've just been going from there. So,
Sweet. And
how
were you?
about yourself, man? Do you play at all?
I
I mean,
don't.
you're surrounded by music all day.
I
Like,
know,
do you
right?
play?
I've been messing around with like trying to learn the guitar, but I mean, just some
Good place to
chords.
start.
I want to try to get into it a little more this summer when I have some more time. But I mean, it seems really fun. But yeah, I mean, I love music, man. So it's great talking to you guys. Um, were you always doing like rock stuff, Matt, or was it kind of all over the place? Like, what kind of, I guess, specific genre were you?
So, I'm like Tony. I don't know. I'm like a couple of years younger than Tony and Brian. So, but unfortunately, where I grew up, there was like a split between what they used to listen to and what I used to listen to. We draw a Venn diagram. There's significant overlap, but it's also kind of like the stuff they listened to ended and the stuff that I listened to began.
Right,
And since I'm this old, the only way that you could hear music was on the radio.
right.
And so, like I got into, Jesus Christ, I don't even know. I think the first band I tried to play the drums to was like Toad the Wet Sprocket or something like that. I don't know. So basically just kind of 90s rock to start.
Yeah.
And then from there, I don't know, ska, punk, like Frank Zappa, Return of Forever. So like like what's it called, rock fusion, stuff like that. I don't know. Like it was just, it was time to get away from the 4/4 beats.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tool is a good one. Big
Nice.
influence is Carter Beauford from Dave Matthews Bands.
Nice.
Yeah. So how about yourself, man? What's like your top 3 bands
You
besides us?
mentioned you
Besides,
mentioned Tool, man. I love some Tool, dude.
have you seen them live before?
Twice. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, me too. They're
Yeah.
freaking awesome, dude. Put on a
What,
hell of a show.
what I guess when did you see him? Was it more recently or like before? And has anyone else seen him live or was it just
You
you?
you may
I
not have
have
been
not.
born last time I saw them. I don't know. Depending how old you're. Yeah, it was like early 2000s the last time I
Nice.
saw them.
That's so
So
cool.
yeah,
Yeah, they're a top for me for sure. That's awesome.
awesome.
Cool. And you guys, you said you've played how many shows again, Tony? Was it just a few or?
Um, yeah, I think like shows like we've done open mics. That's what our first couple gigs were open mics. And so that was really fun. But like actual shows of like 40, 45 minute sets. I think we're at like six or like seven maybe between last year and this year.
Sweet.
Yeah, so it's not a lot, but it's amazing. So like the first time we played together as a band, it was a year ago. It was March 1st, 2024, and we were on stage. And it's just like you have to bring the people that are there, that you want to have, and all this kind of stuff. It's not like it's a big venue or anything.
Yeah.
And we're into the second song, "Bad Luck" from Social Distortion. And of all things, the guitar then cuts out, right? So like it just completely dies. My one buddy was up there like at like a tech, trying to help me out and do all
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. So we get that. And then during one of our original songs, Matt's playing and one of the drums falls off. And
It was a house drum set, and the second tom was shoddy as hell when I put it on. And yes, it. Go ahead,
it,
Tony.
it
I'm sorry to
literally
interrupt.
it just falls off. Brian walks over like a champ and plants his one foot on top of it, like he just planted a flag on top of a mountain and just made it work. I was like, oh my God,
It was a great. It was. He saved my butt. Like
That's
seriously, and
amazing.
it rolled like a significant distance. Like it had it rolled any other way, Brian wouldn't have been able to do that. But yeah, he saved me from looking like a total complete jackass.
It was, but it's good. But every time you do something, you learn from it, and so it's only been 6 or 7, but we've
7.
learned. Like today, we
7.
were talking about songs to select for our next one. If there's a bar that we might be playing in, it's like, okay, last time we did that, we played more originals than we probably should have. So we were talking today. Now let's learn from that. People weren't moving too much, so let's go into some of the some more covers and that kind of stuff. So with each one, well, like I said, maybe 6 or 7, we're learning.
Sweet. Yeah, that kind of touched on something else I wanted to ask. Like when you're playing live, how do you go about coming up with the set list? Do you guys kind of keep it the same, or I'm sure you mix it up, but how does that work?
Brian, you want to talk about that?
Well, I think each time we play, we sort of take note of, okay, how did this song go over? What type of energy are we coming out with? Sometimes, honestly, Jake, it's also too us internally saying, I want to set a tone when we come out. I want to set a tone that we're rocking and that we belong on stage, because a couple of the shows that we've been picked to play for, they're sort of very seasoned bands. So we're not trying to be disrespectful in any way, but we want to set a tone that says, look, we're polished professional musicians as well, and we're setting a tone here. Generally, it's a band consensus as well as to what songs go over best. But then we also think of 2 other things. We need vocal pacing, obviously, for Tony carrying the bulk of the vocals. And now with Matt and I doing background vocals, we think about, okay, how does that work? And, how do the songs flow? And then ultimately, too, pacing for Matt. Drumming and singing is very complex. Playing guitar and bass and singing is complex as well. But Matt's getting a little more of an aerobic workout than we are. So those are the things we try and keep in mind when we're putting a set list together.
And then
I think what Brian is euphemistically trying to say is that I'm an old man now, so I can't play like I used to in the 20s or whatever, yeah, so that has something to do with it.
and
But I'm getting there.
one thing, with the song "Lost Control" that you guys have played for us, we put that at the end of the set because we have to tune our guitar and bass differently for that. So rather than tune twice, we just put it at the end, do it one time, and plus it's a pretty cool song to end with.
Yeah.
It's pretty upbeat. There's a lot of energy in that. So it's like what Brian said, and then sometimes the tuning of the guitars or whatever it might be for the set list. Yeah.
Sweet. And then I know you guys got the EP out, and I noticed it was at least it was on Apple Music.
Mhm.
What was the process like, kind of getting that on the streaming services?
Not too difficult to get it on the streaming services. There's what's that? Like a distribution site called DistroKid.
Uh-huh.
You pay a small fee for a year, and then you can and they have different plans and so on. So once you get your tracks all recorded, and we turn them in, I guess they're WAV files, I think, and then you upload them, put in what you want to put in terms of information. You can put lyrics in, you can put all kinds of stuff in along with it, and then you say when you want it released, and put your artwork in, and away it goes. So
Sweet.
actually, the distribution, it's pretty neat. Like uh, now, because I don't have experience from before, but it's amazing what you can just do on your own without the backing of a record label. I mean, we are as independent of an indie band as you can possibly be.
Yeah.
We don't have any backing from anyone. It's and that's fine. Like we're doing our own thing, and there's no one saying you have to do this, you have to do that. It's just us saying we need to do this, we need to do that. But it just what you can get done even without all that other stuff today is pretty cool. So that
Yeah,
let us do this EP.
absolutely. I have to say the internet is a blessing and a curse, but in this instance, it's a blessing for us just because back in the day, I used to have to like cold call and just go to different bars and drop off a demo tape and say, hey, and give them the whole thing face to face. No one wants to do that stuff. But now, like when we look at our stats, like on YouTube, we have people listening in different countries, and there's no freaking way in hell
Yeah.
that it ever would have reached them, like prior. So
Yeah.
good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but then like Instagram is where I came across you guys.
Yeah.
So it was like, we've had these songs, so let's just start firing them off to see if anybody responds. And I'll be honest with you, I was waiting for a bunch of silence in return. So when you were saying, yeah, we'll do this, like, oh, this is great, And
Yeah, no, it's great because it's great for me too. Because I mean, I can find bands like you, artists like independent artists, and then talk to them and stuff, and it's great. But I feel like sometimes the streaming service thing, like, it's almost as if there's too many options as far as like if I'm trying to find something to listen to. Do you guys feel like that at all? Like,
yes.
it's like an infinite amount of music, and I get overwhelmed. I don't know, but
Yeah. I feel like kids here we go, the old man.
Kids
But
these days.
oh, I
kids
get it. I
kids
get it.
now they have access to unprecedented amounts of music, and then with algorithms you can it just keeps guiding you down different bands, and a lot of times you find good ones, and sometimes you find ones you want to pass over,
Yeah.
but you have so much access to new stuff, whereas when we were younger you had to go buy the thing, you had to do this, but we were also looking at the lyrics, and it was a different kind of experience, but we didn't have the exposure to so many different kinds of
Right.
music.
And it's
So
like if you're like holding a record or a CD or whatever, it's almost like you spend more time with it. I feel like you're more inclined to listen to it if you own it. That's at least from like my experience, but yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
We talked about that as a band with should we do CDs? Does anybody even care about CDs anymore? And we're not doing it for terribly much money, so we
Yeah.
can get them and let's see. And some people have gotten them, so I hope there's people that still feel like that say you want to hold the music and you want to see it and everything, because
Yeah,
I do think that's a neat thing to be able to still pop it in the car and listen
for
and do
sure.
that.
Yeah, and like some of the inserts back in the day were really awesome. Like Green Day Dookie or whatever. Like there's like I don't know how many different things are going on just on that title card, like so
Yeah.
that was awesome. Yeah, but I can say that it really sucked having to pay like 14, $15 for a CD where you only liked one song and the rest
Yeah.
were garbage or whatever. So
Yeah.
that part sucks. But yeah, I mean everything does feel fractured a little bit or too scattered. And then like there's all the stuff going on, like with Spotify and
Yeah.
like now AI scraping and stuff like that. Like it's just we're in the same place right now. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Well,
we gotta go to record stores.
Yeah, Jake,
yeah.
you send me your address, I'll send you a copy of our CD.
Oh, sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome.
It's not a lot to look through, but you can have a CD. I'll send it to you
Let's
as a
go.
thank you for doing what you're doing for us.
Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, seriously, I don't. My conspiracy theory, like they've already started doing, like that in-game purchase play So like when when we grew up, you bought the game and it was complete in its entirety. You played it from front to back. It didn't continue, but now they've thrown in that sleaze thing of like micro transactions. I
Yeah,
think it's only a matter of time before they find some way to like microtransaction music. Like you can pay for half
yeah.
a song now, and then they're half later. So that's terrible. So anyway.
All right, I just got a little pop-up. It says I have 9 minutes and 30 seconds left on the Zoom call, so I'll try to speed through these questions. Um, the next one I had written down was just about the EP. Like, what was the process like of recording it, producing it? I guess how long did it take? What was that like for you guys?
Um, so I'm a teacher, so I had off in the summer. But one of the schools in my district has a studio in it, and so we went to the studio. I guess it was probably December of 23. I think is when we started, and the sound we got out of the studio, it didn't quite work out the way I'd hoped for, especially with the drums. And I saw how the guy was recording it, and I figured we could do that with what I have in my basement. So when the summer hit, we really like Matt and I were able to do a lot of work and get sounds down from for the drums. And so we did all that stuff first, and then I put my guitar stuff down, and then Brian was able to put his bass parts down, and then Matt and I did the vocals, and we redid things, So it took like once we really started in on it, probably took the better part of the summer of this past year. But it had started slowly before
So
that.
here's the thing. When we started, the reason that we suggested is because Tony, before I got there, he had like one of those drum mic kits, So he had like 5 small mics and stuff like that. I was like, oh, we can totally record. So that's how we first started doing it, and just we weren't getting the sound for some reason. I don't know, maybe there were cheap mics or something. But then Mike reached out to someone by Instagram or whatever who was a music producer, and he gave Tony this tip about just using 4 Shure microphones and the placement, and that's how we were able to get the sound out of the drums. It really improved everything. So
Nice.
Yeah, there's a producer in Arizona who just absolutely gave me great advice, and it was amazing. It changed this whole sound of everything.
Yeah.
So it was good.
That's awesome. And then I saw you guys have like some live songs out. Was that what you were talking about earlier? Like the first thing you recorded, or is that a different thing?
Oh no, that was different. We literally just put up 2 microphones in a basement and
Oh,
we were so
okay.
excited. And now looking on, I'm like, oh my God, that sounds so bad. It really does. But it captures like
Yeah.
sound wise, it's not what I would want to do. But it was us playing it. We had a good time.
Yeah.
And so it was
Yeah.
still a lot of fun to do.
It's awesome. Um, I'm always trying to find new music. Do you guys have any like suggestions? Any bands you're currently listening to? Like anything new or old? Like what have you guys been listening to lately?
Brian, you
new? Define new. Is it within 10 years new or no?
Yeah, that's good. That's fine. Or just whatever.
Have you heard of a band called the Mars Volta?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay. Have you heard of the band called At the Drive-In?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's what I got. All right, yeah.
Brian, you have any?
I'm sorry.
Do you have any?
I'm not really listening to any new artist. I mean, I'm kind of like a wide spectrum of music. One maybe that you may want to look at he's based on the West Coast, Jake. Check out an artist, Richie Kotzen. He's probably in our age group, but he plays various instruments, guitar, bass, vocals. It runs the gamut of sort of genres of music.
Cool. I'll check him out. Richie Coxon, you said?
Richie Kotzen, Kotzen.
Awesome.
Sweet. Other bands, there's a band that we've played with, a band named Silver Sonic. Very blues-based rock. They're really good. There's a band in a very different sounding band, but out of Arizona called Stereo Christ. They're another like fairly independent band, but I mean they're really good. It was their producer that gave me the drum tip.
Oh, nice.
Just stumbled into it. So those guys there are a couple bands. But yeah, Silver Sonic is one I would recommend if you like blues-based rock. They do a great job and they're fun. They're great people, and we've had a good time playing with them.
Sweet. And then what's the story, if there is a story behind the name of the band? How'd you guys come up with that? Is it just a random thing, or is there
Well, go ahead, Brian. You want to say something?
Oh, no, I was our first open mic. We didn't really have a name for the band, and Matt came up with Sticky Shoes from the Goonies.
Yeah.
Let's see, it's-
And so, I mean, we went with it, but we weren't really sure. And then in band meetings, we decided, well, let's really put some thought into this. Maybe Sticky Shoes is it. It's the best we can come up with. And then I think sort of after just spitballing ideas, I can't remember the other ones that were up there, but it was Impolite Society and two other names. And then I think Tony probably even had started like doing a little bit of the artwork.
Nice.
Which again, Tony and Matt have been instrumental in just sort of the band getting as out there as it can be. Simply with schedules and whatnot, they are sort of the force behind, the distribution on all the channels and everything else. So I have to give them all the credit in the world for doing that. But yeah, I think that was really sort of what started it, and we all agreed Impolite Society really fit what we were trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I think I saw that somewhere where it came to, I forget, but it was, and then we put it on a list. One of the other names I remember was Royal Front. And when I said something about that, I got a thing from Matt was like, no, we're not doing that because it sounds like, okay. And so well, that's not going to be it. And then there were other names. A lot of them had like black something like Blackwater Rising. I thought that was really cool, like a 3-name band.
That's cool.
Yeah, 3. And then, but then I would look it up. I was like, that's already a band. That's already a band. It's like other people apparently think these are pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So then we went with Impolite Society. It was like, yeah, this sounds good. It feels good, and here we are.
No, I love it. I love the logo too. It's cool.
Oh, thanks.
Did you draw
Check
that?
it out.
Yeah, that's sweet. All right, guys. Well, that's about everything I got. Just want to thank you again for taking some time to talk. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, this is great, and really appreciate it. And seriously, if you send me your address, I'll send you a CD so you can.
Heck
You
yeah,
have that.
we can keep it in the studio too. We have a bunch of CDs there, so we can play it live and stuff. So that'd be great.
Great.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Jake. Really appreciate you taking the
Jake,
time.
thanks, sir.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, guys. So I'll have this recorded and stuff. I'll play it on a Wednesday. I can email you, Tony, or whatever if you guys want to listen. But I can chop it up, whatever.
Yeah, edit my parts heavily, please. Seriously, that's a request. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, that sounds good, man.
All right.
And if ever you want to do it again, let us know. And
yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. But are you safe from the fires? Like, are you?
Yeah,
far away
we're good. We're good. Yeah.
You're good. Okay.
It was a little bad, but we're good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit, dude. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's been crazy. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk. We'll be in touch. Have a good one, everybody.
Thank you very much,
See you,
Jake. Take care, man.
Jake, have a good one, man. Appreciate it, dude.
All right.